talks about that regarding the TV. Basically, he says that in Amusing Ourselves to Death, that the television is best used as a medium for like frivolities, not a medium for serious things, because it rips away the reverence. He has a whole Postman was not a Christian, but he was like sympathetic to Christians. Like he did a lot of things he partnered with Christian organizations a lot.
But you actually mentioned that in the book too, where he mentions, I'm not a Christian, but this seems to, and he
he has a whole chapter on televangelism, and he's basically like, hey, I'm paraphrasing, he's like, this gospel seems like the thing of utmost eternal importance to Christians, and I don't really know that these TV preachers recognize that they're cheapening the message that they're communicating by communicating it through the television and running it alongside like, detergent ads and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, he's got a point. And I think the same applies to social media. Like, as much as I think that, and I'm not anti-social media, I think social media can be used for good and can be helpful for ministry when used supplementally and in some like really tactful ways. I'm not anti-social media, let me say. However, I like social media best when it's used for sports and video games and things that are goofy and don't really matter, rather than when it's used to like out people for terrible things and all of these super heavy theological debates or political ideological debate. I think social media is best used for more lighthearted things than more important things, because I think the things that are most important in life are best communicated about not through social media. And I think we rip away some of the importance and reverence that we should give deeper, more important topics when we communicate about them in the primitive means of social media rather than in more in-person and incarnational way. I mean, it's like trying to recreate the Mona Lisa with sidewalk chalk or something like that. It's like, you're going to debate about the Trinity on Twitter? Are you serious? Like, don't you recognize what that's doing to your debate? It's severely inhibiting it.
You can't engage with nuance.
Yeah.
But, it's just words on a page, and that leaves you the freedom to read those words the way that you think it's being said, rather than what it actually is being said. And then people get into that kind of ad hominem arguments with one another.
Yeah, I used to get in fights on social media all the time when I was like just coming out of college and just getting started in my professional life, and I loved getting in theological debates on social media. And then eventually I was just like, this isn't doing anything for me except making me mad and making me feel better about myself, because I feel like I've bested somebody in like a fencing match about a theological topic on Twitter or whatever. And I just was like, this isn't good for anyone. It's just making me feel better. But I was starting to be enlightened to how it was like, it was like just like shoveling candy into my mouth. It's like, oh, this makes me feel better. Oh no, I feel terrible. It's like that's what it was kind of doing to me.
Well, Mike Heiser made a comment about this before he passed away, obviously, because you don't make a comment after you passed away. But he said that, he goes, when you engage online debate, he goes, it's not against the other person that you're actually debating. He goes, it's the comments that are being written. That's the ones who are reading the comments are the people that you're actually is your real audience.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a valid thing, or should we not even engage that debate whatsoever? Like, is there any benefit?
I do not. So here's my personal policy. I do not get in any argument or discussion
that you can't win
with that would mean I get in all of them. No, I'm joking.
Where's that humility chapter?
I told you my parents had a problem with me, man. I don't get in any disagreement of any kind, however level of heated, whether about who's the best NBA player of all time and why it's LeBron, or a theological topic. I don't get in any debate like that on social media with somebody I do not know personally. Period. I simply do not. I engage with people I don't know personally online, but only if it's like, tweeting a goofy GIF in response to something they tweeted, or if they say, hey, I read your book, thanks for writing, and I'll say, yeah, thanks for reading, whatever. I'll engage with anybody, any stranger in that way. But I'm not going to disagree with somebody about anything silly or serious on the internet that I don't know personally. Now if it's like a one, I think like exception I can think of is there are a lot of other writers about social media, especially like non-Christian ones, that I kind of try to learn what they're saying and then translate it to like my Christian audience, if you will. I will like comment on their stuff and say like, hey, think about it. Like, I see what you're saying. Try thinking about it from this perspective. Let me know what you think. Like, I'll engage with them, but I see it less as like a debate and more of just like a comment card from, from someone. I feel like those things are a little bit different. Like, bring back blog comment sections, because some people from those days may disagree with me, but I think like, frankly, more constructive conversation and debate or argument can happen there than in social media, because there's less of an instant nature to it. And also the other principle I have is, if I ever do find myself in that situation, I attempt to take it private as soon as possible. That was my principle when I was running social media at Lifeway, because as long as you're doing it publicly, you're doing it in front of an audience, and people are going to be tempted and possibly motivated to conduct themselves in a way to please the people who are following them, rather than in a way that solves whatever disagreement and makes progress regarding any disagreement you have.